Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Good.
I just think I've heard you guys talk about political correctness for a while and blaming one side more than the other. I just think you guys have been misguided in how you're seeing this cancellation thing for a while. Like when you talk about like Whoopi Goldberg, saying like you hate to see her canceled.
Yeah. Dave,
Apparently, your phone bill was
you
misguided.
hung up. So call back. He probably get all excited. His chin hit the fucking end button. We didn't hang up on you, so call back.
Yeah. Chris in New Jersey. What's up, Chris?
Hey,
Hey,
Sammy, I got bad news for you.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm a New York suburbs kid myself, and I grew up in Port Jefferson, which is the end of one of the LIRR train lines.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime around the mid-'90s, all of a sudden, the relatively small homeless population started to grow and grow and grow. And a rumor spread all over that Giuliani was giving these guys one-way tickets, and they were deported, so to speak. So,
Well, I don't mind if he sends him to. I don't mind if he sends him to Long Island.
Yeah.
That's the other side.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about one small part.
Oh.
I'm assuming there was one-way tickets all over the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you might be right.
Hey, man, Dave's right here.
Dave's not here, man. Dave, you're back.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay.
Just to kind of illustrate my point, do you guys remember a while ago there was this guy who held up a sign and he raised $1 million on his Venmo by holding up like a clever sign, getting beer money, and then what he did was he gave all that money to like a kid's hospital. And
Yes.
This reporter,
Yeah.
yeah. And this asshole douchebag reporter decides in covering the story, I am going to unearth his old tweets and make him look like a dick and try to get him canceled.
Yeah.
And then everyone to that old reporter said, you know what? Fuck you, dude. And they went and they found his old tweets. And I mean,
Yes.
as it seems to you guys, you think everyone who did that is as bad as him. And to me, like, I don't think you're seeing both sides of it. If you're someone who's that much of a bully and that much of an asshole where you go after someone for no reason like that, you kind of deserve to be canceled. There needs to be some sort of recourse for people like that.
Let me say this, too. This is where you got to be careful. Being a bully is relative to where you're standing. Like, am I being a bully or justifiably canceling someone? It's almost like, what's the difference between a terrorist and a freedom fighter? Depends on the side you're standing on. Like, what we call terrorists, other people call freedom fighters. It's the same way it is with canceling. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, sure, but
he's a piece of shit, that reporter. That's always nice to watch that when someone who's an asshole gets fucked over like that. But canceling, like Chrissy I don't like. But the bottom line is them going after her. We're supposed to be the people who are against cancellations. I don't give a shit why they did it. We're going after Amber Heard to get fired. Yeah, she sucks. I think she sucks. She's an asshole. But if you're going after her to lose her job, you're just as bad as the people that went after anybody else who's lost their job.
Well, my standard is this, and this is the standard I think we disagree on. If you're someone who goes after other people and tries to get them canceled and tries to destroy their life, then you're open to it. Then it should be open to
Okay,
you.
all right,
So
but by logic, Dave, let's say that you say then you're open to it. So I'm going to start canceling them. Well, now you've done it to them, so that means that you're open for it.
Well, no, because I'm doing it because they have tried to destroy someone else's life.
Dave, don't you see?
No, that's not, well, hold on.
You're justifying your own reason.
Oh, it's different.
If you were doing it to someone who just destroyed someone else's life, that's different.
Oh, see, but they had a reason for doing it. That's your reason for doing it. And I kind of agree with you emotionally.
Sure.
But that's your reason for doing it. No, they went after other people, and other people would go, no, the reason I'm canceling them, because they said something racist. Like, they're as convinced about their reason as you are about yours.
But they're wrong.
I suppose that, I guess, yes, but well, they are wrong, yes, because I'm doing it because they did it to somebody else.
You're doing it because it feels good, Dave. That's why they're doing it, because it feels good. And when we have a reason that allows us to not feel like canceling assholes, it feels even better.
It's the best.
It feels good, man.
That I get, but there needs to be some sort of consequence for doing it to other people. That's the point.
But here's the problem. Like, yeah, there needs to be some sort of consequence. But when people like, I'm not attacking you, Dave, but when you go like, well, there has to be some kind of consequence, so let me go forward and start working towards that. Well, it's like, who made you the guy who doles out consequences?
No, I agree. I don't want to be the guy. Believe me, I want it. But the problem is we don't have like a criminal justice equivalent to like to destroying people's lives on social media. We don't have like a court of this guy was completely unjust and unfair and how he canceled this other person. We don't have a system like that. So it's just kind of the Wild West right now.
But what you can do, and this is where what people need to do better, is we can push back against people who are getting in trouble for saying things. Start defending people who you think suck. Start defending people's right to work, even if you think that they're pieces of shit. Like, instead of canceling someone who's a fucking an asshole who canceled somebody else, defend that person from being canceled, even if you hate their guts. That's how you stop it. You don't stop it by piling on because it feels good. You stop it by fucking at least speaking up for people who are being canceled, or at least not taking part in it. Yeah, that's how you stop it.
But like, there's something about mutually assured destruction. If you have one side that uses this as a tool repeatedly and they won't stop, then if they're just going around punching people in the nose, the only thing to do is punch them in the nose. Like when you have a company like Netflix again, who likes wokeness.
Really? Hold on. Wokeness Netflix? You mean the company that defended Chappelle and kept Dave Chappelle on?
A bunch of employees went out and started protesting the special.
So what? And they also told their employees, we will defend artists' rights. Artists have the rights, and if you don't like it, you don't have to work here. What are you talking about?
When did they do that? Exactly.
They sent out a memo.
They just did that.
They sent out a memo a week before.
No, exactly. When did they send out that memo? Before or after their stock price took a huge tumble? After.
They sent it. No, they sent it out. They sent it out. They sent it out a week before the Ricky Gervais special came out. If they were woke Netflix, they probably wouldn't put out a Ricky Gervais special where the first 15 minutes was about women having penises.
Stock was down then, though.
No, but they put out that letter after the stock price took a huge tumble because people were sick of it.
No, but that's not.
It wasn't even a public letter. It wasn't. They didn't.
It was internal.
Right after?
It was an internal memo.
And they also defended Dave long before the stock thing. And when their employees walked out, Netflix didn't bend to them.
Yeah, they didn't take the special down.
They didn't take.
They did.
They did not take Dave's special down.
No. I didn't say they took his special down, but they were just saying, "We hear you, we understand you." Instead of just saying, instead of releasing that.
So basically, they're woke because they didn't react. They're a company dealing with employees who are being babies, the same as Spotify did. And what they did was they're like, "Hey, we hear you. You have the right to feel this way. We're not taking it down." That's the antonym. Hold on, Dave. That's the antonym of wokeness. It's the antonym of being woke. The fact that they defended Dave's right and his special and left it up there is the antonym of wokeness.
Let me ask you one thing objectively. That letter that they released, that memo, why didn't they release it after the stock? Why did they wait until after the stock price took a dive?
First of all, let's talk before the stock price. Who cares about what they did a bit? You see how you just want to be right? They're not woke.
I'm really not.
Okay, then deal with this. If they're a woke company, why did they leave Dave's special up and the one before that people also complained about
and still release Ricky's?
And I know that these are the biggest guys in the business, but they're also not telling other people that they can't do certain material.
And if the memo was in response to stock price going down, why wouldn't they put out a public address? Why would they do it? No company puts out an internal memo to try to correct stock. They put out a press release for the public.
I think it's common sense that people would get out there. I don't think
if they wanted it to get out there, they would just put out a press. Not that they to get it out there. There would have been no harm in putting out a press release.
I think there's more nuance to it than that.
Dave, there's not more.
What's the nuance?
Yeah, what is the nuance? Because you want to be right about this. So what's the nuance?
No, I'm not saying I want to be right, Joe. I'm just saying I think it's common sense that if you release an memo like that, it's just slamming wokeness. That
common
it's
sense.
Get out into the public.
Common sense, Dave, is that if they were a woke company, they would have pulled Chappelle's special down. They would never have defended his special, and the one before that they defended. They're not buckling to the pressure. They also don't want to go to war because there's a bunch of artists that were against Dave too. And Netflix is a fucking entertainment company. They don't want to be at war with a bunch of performers. They're trying to balance also other performers where they want on the platform. They're not being woke about it. They're just trying to do it where they don't lose a whole lot of people.
Elon said they were
woke. That I understand.
He's wrong.
Again, those are incredible.
Elon likes to feed people like Dave.
Yeah, I think Elon was wrong if he said that they're woke.
Elon likes to get people like Dave all worked up and watch this stuff happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're wrong, Dave.
Look, I understand what you're saying. But I'm just saying, in the context of Netflix, I think the fact that they waited until after people start reacting to the marketplace and shit on them to release the memo.
Dave, what if? Let me ask you this. This was my theory. Presented it to Ricky Gervais himself. What if they knew Ricky's special was coming out? They knew they were going to get the same backlash they got for Chappelle. So instead, this wasn't them backtracking. They were actually getting in front of the next wave that they knew was coming to go like, look, before you start, because you will a week from now, just know we've already got a statement out. You already know how we feel. We're not doing this again.
Yeah.
What if that was why they did that? Because they did do it a week before Ricky's special came out.
I think that's also plausible.
Oh.
Yeah, but I also think it's. I think why are those mutually exclusive aims though? Why can't it be?
Because
because you can't because they're. I mean, Jim said it best. They're antonyms. It can't be because one is your argument that they're a woke company, and the other is this argument that they're just a company doing what companies do.
Yeah,
I'm saying they were catering too much to wokeness, and the public reacted.
Wait, hold on. How are they? Dave, you might not like some of their programming. But they did just what you wanted them to do. People were trying to cancel Dave, and they stood by him. They did exactly what you said you would want a company to do, and still it's not enough.
When all those employees are protesting and saying, screw Dave," I think I wanted them to do what they did. But they stuck with Dave then. No, I'm not just saying stick with Dave. I'm release a thing saying if you don't like it, they waited to do that until after they took a hit.
By the way, they did, I believe.
I think that was the marketplace reacting.
They did, I believe. Hired them was because there was a mistake and they actually thought they were allowed to be there. But Netflix's first reaction back before the stock took the dump was to fire the people who I believe showed up at this meeting that they weren't supposed to be at. And the only reason they wanted to keep in their jobs is because there was some type of a mix-up in the email and they thought they were allowed to be there. Dave, Netflix's first reaction was to crack down on them. You have no idea what you're talking about, dude. You're listening to a line of thinking that because they show a pregnant man and that you think, oh, they're woke, and you've heard this word woke, and you think that it applies to them, but their actions are not woke.
The stock dump, like the stock going down, lined up with their quarterly report in which they announced that subscribers were down. Why, if it were a wokeness thing, did the stock not go down when they started to get woke? The stock didn't go down when Nanette came up.
Right.
The stock didn't go down when the Pregnant Man show started. The stock didn't go down permanently when Cuties came out and all this stuff was going on. The stock went down when the financials came back and they said their subscriber base was down.
Again, I don't think the stock market works exactly like the way you want it to. Like, react to one show, Pregnant Man. I think it's an accumulation of things.
So what?
And eventually, again, you can't pretend like
it's a quarterly report.
What about Disney? What about Disney?
No, fuck Disney. No. You don't get to go left. We're on Netflix. No, there's no. Let's make this a bigger point because this one you're going down in flames.
Go left, Jim. I was referring to the fact that wokeness can't affect the company's bottom line. I think it clearly can.
It can.
Nobody's saying that it can't.
Right.
We're saying that it didn't in Netflix's case.
And I'm saying if it didn't,
I misunderstood.
I'm saying you're misclassifying them as woke when they behaved exactly as people claim to want a company to behave. They did exactly what you want.
Well, no, they didn't until after the stock price went
up. Who gives a shit what their employees do? They fucking and also Spotify did not allow their employees to dictate who they had on their network on their platform. So both of those companies should be getting nothing but praise, and people are still fucking whinging because there's programming they don't like on there. How about you're the problem? Hey, they have this Pregnant Man or whatever the fuck they're showing that people find irritating.
I don't even know what that show is.
I don't either, but that's just the one.
I don't care if they show 7 Pregnant Men and Hannah Gadsby. I don't give a shit.
No, but the point is, but you're calling them woke. It's incorrect.
I don't think Dave has a point.
You don't have a point.
Dave's not here, man.
I do have a point. I'm calling them woke because after you have all these people marching out and protesting Chappelle's special, they didn't tell them what they did until after the stock price.
Yes,
it's two separate things.
They're separate.
Travis
it's not. It is to you, but it's not. A lot of other people.
Dave, do you?
Well, you want to be right, Dave.
He keeps saying Netflix caters to woke people, but every single step of the way, they didn't back down.
Every single because Dave, I've been in quote unquote entertainment for over 30 years. Do you know how many times I've seen companies backtrack? It's all they do. I couldn't believe Stuck by Joe.
Dave, do you at least get that here in this conversation, you are not an objective person? You have your feet completely dug in to one side.
Yeah.
And so far,
no, I don't agree. I think I have one perspective on how the stock price went down, and then what happened. You have another one. Yeah,
whoever you heard say that, I mean, is misclassifying why they did it. It is correct. before Gervais' special.
It's a ludicrous assumption to assume after Netflix stock prices go down, they release the Angelo statement being a complete coincidence. And again, you offered an alternative situation where it was because of Ricky Gervais' special. I think that's fair, but I also think it's also reasonable to assume it might have been something to do with the fact that people were criticizing the wokeness.
Also, their stock price dropped April 20th. The memo came out May 15th. It was like weeks later. It wasn't an immediate reaction.
Almost a month.
When was Elon's tweet that said it was woke? Did that affect it? I was just curious if that affected.
He's acting like it was an immediate reaction, like their stock price dropped and then they released this internal memo. It was weeks later. It had nothing to do with anything.
Why does anybody care about Elon?
Why would it be weeks later?
Nobody's talking about Elon.
Why would weeks later mean it's not a response?
Who gives a fuck when it was released?
Why,
Dave,
why would a company, if they were going to release an intern, if the strategy was, I know what we'll do.
You're being so naive, it's insane.
I know, it's crazy, Dave.
Yeah.
If the strategy.
All right, so Dave, you think that when the stock price dropped on April 15th, Netflix said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to wait 2.5 weeks. Shut up!
Let him finish, Dave.
Shut up.
Let him finish.
We're going to wait 2.5 weeks. Then we're going to release an internal memo that says, if you don't like it, maybe you should find somewhere else to work.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right,
You're the same guy that also, a minute ago...
We're naive.
See, Dave, you're so obsessed with this shit. You just told us a few minutes ago, you think that if you're canceling someone who's canceled other people, you're part of the problem. You're everything you're railing against, dude. You're not going to see it. You're not going to agree. You're everything that you think you're against, you do.
I'm saying if you're someone like Whoopi Goldberg who's made a career out of destroying other people, then you should be open to it, yes.
Yes, of course, and Whoopi Goldberg, and also Chrissy Teigen should go, and then that's why this, and Sharon Osbourne should have went, and then this one should have went. Everybody has a reason.
I'm giving you my reason, though, Jim.
Do you know that
I don't have a reason.
Dave, do you know
I don't have a reason.
Do you know there are a lot of people who think that that Ben Shapiro should be canceled because he's a racist anti-Semite?
And they find him to be homophobic or transphobic.
And that he's destroying lives.
A lot of people want him canceled.
Obviously, I disagree with that, but that's not the point.
But of course it's not the point because you disagree with it. I don't think he should be.
I'm giving you my standard for when someone should be canceled.
Okay.
Go around trying to cancel other people.
So you're as bad as they are.
Go around punching other people in the mouth. They should be punched
Dave,
in the mouth.
you're right. You're there saying cancel Ben Shapiro.
That's a ridiculous false equivalency.
No, it's not.
I'm only saying
it's not.
People who go around trying to destroy other people's lives, they're open to it. That's it.
It's more satisfying emotionally, yes. Your reason in your mind is as justified as their reason is in their mind. So I'm saying congratulations. You're the same bullshit they are, but you're just, instead of 6 o'clock, you're 6:15. You're a little bit further on the clock. Just because
we both think we're being reasonable doesn't mean that we're both.
Yeah, but Dave, your punch.
I'm not trying to cancel people I disagree with. I've always defended people's right to say what they want.
Neither am I. I'm trying to cancel people who can't go around canceling other people.
Okay. So you disagree with them. You disagree with them.
Dave, your thing about Dave, your thing about if you cancel people, then you can be canceled. It's like, if you punch someone in the mouth, maybe you should get punched in the mouth. But if I go to you after you punch someone in the mouth, and I go, why? Wait.
Too eager.
Dave, if I go to you and I go, hey, why'd you punch that guy in the mouth? And you come back to me and you go, because I'm against people punching people in the mouth. I'm going to go like this. It's a weird reason, Dave. It's a really weird logic.
You understand the metaphor? I'm not actually punching somebody.
Yeah, we understand the metaphor.
I mean, I understand metaphor. Yeah, I'm not.
I get it, and Sam gets it. But you're figuring out why your reason is okay. And I'm saying that what all these people who are supposedly against cancel culture should be doing is pushing back against companies who buckle to it. Like if a company fires somebody for saying something, how about remember when Sean Hannity's fans, when they were trying to cancel Hannity, Keurig pulled their advertising? All of Hannity's fans started throwing Keurig out the window and videotaping it. And you know what Keurig did? They backed off. And they said, wait
a minute. You're acknowledging the tactic I'm saying is effective. You're just saying it's okay to do it against companies.
Yes, there's a great difference between silencing an individual and not patronizing a company.
Okay. So the logic of punching someone in the nose and just punching a bunch of people in the mouth is okay as long as it's companies, not people.
You don't see the difference. There's a big difference between a company.
Noses, mouths.
Dave, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between pushing back against a corporation and pushing back against an individual for saying something you don't like.
But again, it's not just saying something I don't like. It's that you're trying to destroy lives.
And by doing that, they're saying something you don't like. They're saying hey, go after it. Look, I don't like Whoopi Goldberg's stance. I think it stinks. I think Amber Heard stinks. But if you want
the fact that they're saying something I don't like, they can be saying something I do like. If they're trying to destroy someone else's lives,
give me one example when that's happened. Give me one example when that's happened.
Goldberg.
So no, when they're saying something you like.
Or somebody saying
you just said if they're saying something you like, if they're trying to cancel somebody else's life, you're gonna go after them. So I'm saying.
I can't think of one, but I would. Absolutely.
So you just made that up as you were going along because you wanted to.
I'm saying that's the standard, Jim. I'm just saying I would absolutely hold. I was saying that.
Oh yeah, sure, theoretically, but in practice you don't do it. But somewhere down the road it may happen.
I don't do it for anyone. I'm just I didn't go after Whoopi Goldberg. I'm just saying she deserved it. I'm not on Twitter trying to cancel people. I'm just saying. I'm not really not. I'm just telling you.
Okay, so for you,
he's objective.
Yes.
That's what you hold for companies.
Middle of the road.
You should be upfront for people who try to go around destroying other people's lives. I think that's crazy with a jump.
But don't you understand?
You do it for Kira, but you can't do it for Whoopi Goldberg. I don't understand.
I know you don't. I know you don't understand. I know. I'm watching you not understand. There's a difference to me.
Well, explain it to me. Explain it to me why someone who goes around destroying other people's lives.
Because they're pieces of shit. Because they're pieces of shit. That's why my morality, like the way I fucking look at silencing people, isn't based on what they do. Whoopi Goldberg doesn't dictate how I look at cancellations. Fucking Chrissy Teigen doesn't dictate how I look at cancellations. Well, she's doing it, so therefore I'm going to be a piece of shit? No.
Is Chrissy Teigen going around trying to cancel people?
She was at one point. Yeah. You should know that.
Then there you go. Example number one. Then I think she's open to it. There you go. There's your example. I kind of like Chrissy Teigen, but if she's going around trying to cancel people, for sure they said, then she should be open to it.
That's not the parameters you set. The parameters you set were even if they're saying something you like, if they're trying to cancel somebody.
I like Chrissy Teigen.
Well, no, I didn't say if you like them. If they're saying something you like, and you're just throwing that. You didn't even know it happened. You just want to have an example because you feel stupid you didn't have an example. Yeah. So now you're looking for an example.
I assume she said stuff I like. I don't know the situation. I don't know.
Well, then don't assume. I'm not assuming, Dave. You don't have to assume just to be right. Just say you don't know, but it's okay. We don't all know. There's a lot of things I don't know.
I'm just saying I'm upholding the same standards.
Okay, well, if you believe in...
If it happens to not be Chrissy Teigen, I apologize.
Sure. Oh, yeah, look, dude.
If you go around...
You can be all for canceling people. So don't you understand, Dave, that when people say, well, if someone's punching someone now, everyone wants to justify why we're doing something. Nobody wants to say, hey, I'm out there being unreasonable. We all want to have a justifiable reason. So if you really believe in this principle of not punishing people like that, individuals, then fucking defend Whoopi Goldberg. Defend her and say she shouldn't be fired. She's an asshole, but she shouldn't be fired for having an opinion.
But my whole principle is people who go around trying to
fuck them. That's her problem. Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg dictates how Dave lives his life and how Dave handles canceling.
I don't live my life according to Whoopi Goldberg.
Sure you do.
No, I don't. That's not right, Jim.
Dave,
I don't.
I've
never tried to get anyone canceled before, ever. It's never happened. Whoopi. I'm just telling you, as a matter of principle, not Whoopi. I'm telling you as a matter of principle.
Because I understand the joy of it. Emotionally, I love seeing people I hate suffer. But I'm honest about it. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
You're saying it's something to do with the curve, not to do with the individual.
Yes, I've said 5 times that there's a difference between pushing against a corporation who is going to fire individuals or penalize individuals and penalizing an individual. Yes, I do see a difference.
Even if that individual has for decades tried to destroy the
yes, because meaning I understand seeing that person get trashed for something they did totally wrong. But when they're doing something like, I don't think people should be fired for saying a dumb thing. So when they say a dumb thing, the emotional part of me is like, yeah, good, fuck them, burn them at the stake. But if I give in to that, then I'm just as big a piece of shit as they are for doing it to other people. Because their reason in their mind for doing it is as real as your reason is or my reason would be. Do you understand? Like, nobody thinks we're being unreasonable dickheads. We all think we have a great and justifiable reason to do it. And it's all the same thing. It feels good to attack people and to punish them.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we're obviously a lot more on the same page than you thought we were.
Oh, no, we're not, because
you guys are saying the same.
You already said why you think certain people should be canceled, and you've also said that you still think Netflix is woke. So to me, you're just married to this idea and you're misrepresenting what being woke is.
Well, we both agree that it should be done to companies, but you just think Netflix isn't a good example.
I don't think they're woke. I think that their actions have proved that they're not woke. They're not buckling.
Okay, then we might disagree, but on Netflix, we agree that when companies back down this kind of pressure, like they did on Fox and Hannity, that people should push back against that.
Against the corporations? Yes, I've never said That's not even part of our discussion. I only used an example. No. I used an example of when it was effective, when people got sick and tired of a company doing something, and they pushed back. When companies push back.
We agree that there is a time when it is justified. We just disagree on when.
Yeah. You're right. Like, we all know that you have to walk away from this call feeling how you were right. Yes, you did.
I think I'm being very reasonable.
I know you do.
Everything you're accusing me of, you're doing. You're acting like I'm not. I don't have to be right.
Dave, I think there's a lot of woke companies. CNN, I think, is a woke company. I think that NBC, by the way their news divisions run, you can say that there's a certain woke thing, and they don't stick by people. Their actions to me have proven over time that they're not going to stick by people. They're always going to take one point of view. Netflix is showing a bunch of different points of view, standing by a guy who everybody on one side wanted fucking thrown off the air. So yeah, I respect that.
You guys are forgetting about Elon's tweet.
Stop with the tweet.
I don't know what did he say.
It doesn't matter.
He said it was woke. Netflix is a woke mind.
He said it was the woke mind virus is making Netflix up. Dave, I'm trying to help you out.
He's
buddy.
trying to read it, Dave. You're too used to being in a party trying to talk as everyone's walking away. Let him finish. Let me know.
Actually, I don't go to parties.
Wait, he was kidding. All right, I apologize. I just did the same thing. I was accusing you. Yes.
He said the woke mind virus is making Netflix unwatchable. That was April 19th.
He also said Dogecoin is going to the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
You said, but dude, if you said a lot of their programming is woke, if you said their programming has gone in that direction, I wouldn't disagree with you.
He also said he was going to buy Twitter.
No, I was referring specifically. I was very annoyed with the way they. I did not think they defended Davo enough when a bunch of their employees went out and started calling him a transphobe.
Wow.
And they just kind of let it go.
They let people protest.
Yeah. So wait. So they literally they allowed people in their company to have the same right that they gave Dave. Dave had the right to say what he wanted in special, and Dave did nothing wrong. I don't know whether or not.
If my employer goes out and calls me a transphobe, and a bunch of there's a difference between freedom of speech and saying, well, then go work for somebody else.
No, there is no difference. They and by the way, and they did kind of push back on that. They didn't bend on it. They let their employees say what they want, just like Spotify did. They didn't bend. They said no.
My point was not until later. That's the whole thing I said. They should have said, listen to me, if you think we're transphobes, go work for somebody else. And they didn't say that until after.
Maybe
the stock price took a hit.
Because maybe they wanted their employees to stay. Maybe they wanted their... Did it ever occur to you that a lot of the employees may be irritating socially, but they actually were good employees? So maybe while they were going through this, Netflix knows this is a very, very passionate issue for people, and they know that people are going to get very upset with it. And they know that very liberal people especially will be very upset. So they're going to allow their employees to have a voice that they want to have, but they're also not going to bend 1 inch on not letting their artist say what he wants. So they literally allowed everybody to say what they wanted. How is that woke? Woke to me is repressive. Woke is punishing and it's punitive. Woke is not allowing people with different points of view to talk.
I agree with that. It's also trying to shut people down and jumping to bigots because you disagree with someone else's perspective. If you disagree with a bunch of jokes and you call them bigots and transphobes, that's woke. That's
woke from the employees. They had a woke mindset, yes. But the company itself did not listen to that mindset. They allowed people to have a voice that I'm sure Netflix found that annoying. So not only allow a guy to put very controversial opinions on, they allow an annoying perspective from their own employees, and they don't just mass fire people for it. They let them say it, and you know what?
I'm not saying mass fire. I was just saying push back against it, which they waited to do.
They did push back.
After, you know what I'm going to say?
No, Dave, pushing back.
Until after. That's the whole thing I'm saying.
No,
Dave's argument is literally Netflix is woke because they didn't say go work somewhere else soon enough.
Immediately, and my point is maybe they wanted their employees to stay. Maybe they valued those employees even though they were annoying. Instead of saying go work somewhere else, they didn't want them to work somewhere else.
The pushback is leaving Chappelle's special on the front page of Netflix.
That's the pushback. And Ted coming out and saying we're not taking it.
Employees are so important that we're scared of standing up for basic principles.
They did stand up for it.
They did stand up.
They left the special up.
Not until after.
They left the special up. Dave,
the fucking special was left up.
They left.
You guys aren't listening.
Guys, Elon's tweet. Stop with the tweet.
I hope everybody is listening to this. Dave, they.
Because you guys are being unreasonable.
Of course. They left.
The same simple point about the timing of the memo and why it was suspect.
Fuck the memo! Dave,
that's a good point.
Long before the memo. They left the special up. They just did.
Of course they left it up.
But then
is a brilliant comedian who brings in tons of money.
They should have made a memo.
Then that's that.
In what world would it have been good to take it down?
In what world?
What world?
What world? what world have you been living in? Do you not see how many people are in trouble for jokes? In what world would that have been good in? It's all that's been happening for the last fucking 15 years. What are you talking about?
What world is taking down Chappelle's special of financial?
It's never a good move. Companies make it every time. It's never a good move. They fired.
Entertainment company was one of the best comedians on the planet. That would have
They don't
ABC
care.
fired Roseanne, and it was the most one of the most popular shows on their network.
Thank you.
She was MAGA, though.
Kevin Hart was supposed to be host Oscars, and they fucking yanked him. What are you talking about? In what world? It happens all the time.
Dave, the point that we're making is that if they were
financially sound move.
Dave, stop. You can't have it both ways, Dave. You can't have it both ways. If they were buckling to their, if they were I'm telling you,
I'm not.
I'm telling you,
he's telling you. Dave.
If they were a woke company that was buckling to their woke employees, then Chappelle's special would not have been on the front page of Netflix, and Ted Sarandos would have made a statement saying, we're going to take it down, instead of, we are not going to take it down. The memo that you are obsessed with that came months later is regardless of all that. Standing Up for Dave was leaving the special up, which they did immediately. At no point was the special buried or taken off the platform.
Well, I think Standing Up for Dave would have been after those employees walked out and called Dave and their company transphobes, saying, if you don't like it, go work somewhere else. And they didn't do that.
Okay.
That's
a good point.
The stock price took a hit. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah, it wasn't good enough for you. But the bottom line is, they did exactly, I think, what they should have done as a company, which is let everybody have the voice that they want to have. The reason and Samuel, I think, is very correct about this. The reason they came out now had zero to do with the stock, and it wound up being Ricky's specialist coming out, and they're not going to take that their employees a second time. They might not have saw it coming the first time. Like, they might not have realized, and they didn't edit Ricky's special. They didn't make Ricky. They could have told Ricky, we're not airing these jokes. They didn't do that. So you're calling them woke when they're putting out a special that they know is going to offend the shit out of certain people, and they're telling them before.
I'm saying they didn't respond forcefully enough to woke.
Oh.
That is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So it's never going to be good enough. You're as bad as they are, dude. Just so you know. So
How as bad as they are?
Because it's never enough. It's never enough. You are exactly what woke is.
I'm saying it is enough. What they did is enough. What they did is enough for me. They said, if you don't like it, go.
So wait, when did you cancel Netflix? When did you cancel Netflix?
I still have Netflix.
Oh, wow. Mister, I want to take a stand, did nothing. So basically, you allowed this company.
They released the memo.
The memo. Okay. What about before the memo, Dave? What about when the employees were walking out? Why didn't you take a moral stand and cancel them because they're too woke? Why?
He knew the memo was coming.
Giving them time to respond.
Oh,
you were giving them time to respond.
So they took the time.
I mean, months and months and months. I don't even remember when the Chappelle special came out.
I don't either.
But I'm going to guess it was February.
Yeah.
Okay, you went through all of February, all of March, all of April, and then finally we're like, I knew the memo was coming. All of May, and you sat there and you paid 3 monthly fees, which is very expensive. You paid
some sort of anti-woke robot. Like, I have other shit to do. I was
busy canceling Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to cancel my Netflix.
So basically, you're like everybody else. A company can do whatever they want if they don't, and you're just going to keep paying. So don't complain about it. Don't complain about it. If you're not
I'm
going
not like everyone else. I just said that.
I'm different.
You're
I'm
keyboard.
unique.
You're a keyboard guy. I get it. I get it.
I'm not like everyone else.
I'm unique.
I'm not stuck in this political cycle. I'm a free-minded person.
Yeah. I've heard they were woke. People I admire said they were woke, and I'm going to repeat it. People I admire.
I'm not repeating it.
Dave,
I saw on YouTube that they were woke. Let me ask you this, Dave. Let me ask you this. Did you come to the conclusion that Netflix was woke on your own? Were you watching their actions and going like, man, this is becoming a woke company? Or did somebody or Dave, did somebody point it out to you? Was there somebody that maybe you were watching or listening to that you were like, oh, they make a good point. I guess Netflix is woke. Which one was it?
No, I formed it on my own, Sam.
That's
Thank you very much.
It's not true.
Shit.
It's not true.
That's the biggest pile of rickshaw horse shit I've ever heard in my life.
If I said originally woke Netflix, what I'm saying is they didn't respond forcefully enough.
Okay, all right, Dave. I believe you.
Yeah.
When did you come to that conclusion? At what point?
After I watched the Chappelle and the CEO
So
of Netflix
February.
like, we hear you, we're so sorry, or some bullshit
They didn't
like
say that. They didn't say that. They did not say we're so sorry. They said we're not taking the special down. They did not apologize. They absolutely did not apologize. So in February, you realized that Netflix was woke.
I don't remember the exact months. I didn't say they weren't. They didn't.
That was Dave's
Well,
special.
that's when Dave's special came out, and that's when the protests started right after it.
And then from
I'm saying after a bunch of those boys came out, and then a Netflix executive came out and said something and placated them in some way.
So I guess if that's when it
Elon's tweet.
If that's when it happened, around the same time as Elon's tweet, do you think that it makes sense that you and
Dave, stop interrupting. He's trying to tell you something, and you literally just you're so used to, again, being in these heated arguments with people that aren't interested. Someone's actually listening to you, and you don't know how to take it.
Dave,
that's what I said.
The stock crashed towards the end of April, beginning of May. That's when the crash happened.
Yeah. And also, it's been down since January.
So what? Yeah, but there is no discernible, like, February.
It's down 68% on the year.
when Dave realized that Netflix was woke in February and stayed with Netflix, even though he was like, man, this is a woke company. Yeah. There is no stock drop that happened when Dave's special.
Not Dave's special.
Yeah. No, not around Dave's special. There is no.
But there is a significant drop.
When?
April 20th.
Hey, I gave you a minute.
April 20th.
You did exactly what I thought you did. You mischaracterized my argument. You said exactly what I said I didn't mean.
2.5 months later.
Elon's tweet.
Oh.
Dave, we've been listening to your argument. We've been listening to your argument. You're a guy who stayed with the company. You thought they were woke. You weren't going to take action, and you weren't going to walk away from a company you thought was buckling to wokeness. So basically, if they were doing what you said, you'd be co-signing it because you're not walking away from them. So you stop complaining. Like, I'm glad you with Netflix, because I think they might have woke programming and woke like points of view, but when push comes to shove, they do not behave in a woke fashion. They behave like a company. I want a company to behave. They let their employees say what they want.
I'm fine with the way they responded, and there is the fact that they do put up Chappelle and Ricky Gervais.
Right. So what's the point?
It's part of why I didn't want to.
That's why I didn't cancel.
But a woke company wouldn't do that. They're literally
it's not that they're woke. I said that they didn't respond forcefully enough to wokeness. There's a difference.
Well, to me, responding to wokeness is literally keeping the artists on the platform and allowing them to say what they want. That is a 100% brick wall to wokeness.
And Dave, I feel like we've given you allowed you to speak your piece quite a bit on our platform. It's been 40 minutes.
Yeah. I don't want to take up too much time on the show.
I mean, you've already.
I'm a long time fan.
Did a good job.
35 minutes ago.
Dave, we're going to let you go, Dave. We appreciate the